Elizabeth, my deepest condolences on Richard's tragic death. Suicide is always so unexpected.
Cut the act, Vincent. I know Richard didn't kill himself. I know you murdered him.
That's a serious accusation, Elizabeth. Grief can make people say irrational things. Perhaps you should speak with a professional about these paranoid delusions.
I found Richard's confession letter. I know about the environmental cover-ups, the bribes, the murders you committed to keep your crimes secret.
Richard always was too sentimental. I told him not to leave any evidence behind, but he never could resist dramatic gestures.
So you admit it. You killed my husband.
I eliminated a threat to our business partnership. Richard lost his nerve at the worst possible time. The EPA was starting a new investigation, and Richard wanted to confess everything just to ease his guilty conscience.
Those people you killed had families. They had children who grew up without fathers because of what you did.
Those people were obstacles to progress, Elizabeth. Sometimes sacrifice is necessary for the greater good.
The greater good? You mean your bank account?
Our bank accounts, Elizabeth. Don't pretend you didn't benefit from every dollar Richard and I earned through our partnership. Your mansion, your children's education, your comfortable lifestyle, all of it was built on the foundation Richard and I created.
I didn't know how the money was earned.
But you know now. And that creates a problem for both of us. I have detailed records of every crime Richard committed, every cover-up he participated in, every bribe he authorized. If this information becomes public, it won't just destroy my reputation, it will destroy your family.
What do you want, Vincent?
$50 million. Transferred to offshore accounts I'll specify. In exchange, these records disappear forever, and your family's reputation remains intact.
50 million? That's almost our entire liquid assets.
Consider it a small price to pay for your children's futures. Without this money, Alex's business career is over, Sophia's journalism career is finished, and Marcus will never practice law.
You're blackmailing me with my own husband's crimes.
I'm offering you a business proposition. 50 million for your family's continued prosperity and safety.
Safety? Are you threatening my children?
I'm explaining reality, Elizabeth. Richard thought he could expose our partnership and protect his family. He was wrong. You're smarter than Richard. You understand that some secrets are too dangerous to reveal.
And if I refuse to pay?
Then these documents get delivered to the FBI, the EPA, the media, and every law firm in the country. Your children will spend their lives defending themselves against criminal charges and civil lawsuits.
You'll be implicated too. These crimes will destroy your business as well.
I have excellent lawyers and carefully constructed alibis. Most importantly, I have Richard's signed confessions admitting that he masterminded everything while I was an unwilling participant.
Richard would never sign confessions like that.
Richard signed whatever I put in front of him during our final conversation. Amazing what people will do when they're desperate to protect their children.
I need time to think about this.
You have 48 hours, Elizabeth. After that, I assume you've chosen to let your family pay the price for Richard's crimes.
Alex, I need to ask you some questions about your work with your father, and I need you to be completely honest with me.
Mom, what's this about? You look like you haven't slept.
Did your father ever ask you to falsify environmental reports or cover up safety violations at the factories?
Mom, where is this coming from?
Answer the question, Alex. Have you been involved in covering up environmental crimes?
It's not that simple, Mom. Sometimes in business, you have to bend the rules to stay competitive.
Bend the rules? Alex, we're talking about crimes that killed people.
Killed people? Mom, what are you talking about? Dad and I made some regulatory shortcuts to save money, but nobody died.
Alex, your father left me recordings. Vincent Morrison murdered 3 people to cover up environmental disasters that you and your father caused.
Morrison killed people? Mom, I swear I didn't know about any murders.
But you knew about the environmental violations?
I knew we were cutting corners on some safety procedures. Dad said it was standard practice in the industry. He said everyone did it.
Standard practice? Alex, your father's shortcuts caused chemical leaks that killed factory workers.
I thought those deaths were accidents. Dad told me the investigations cleared us of any wrongdoing.
The investigations were falsified, Alex. Your father and Morrison bribed officials and destroyed evidence.
This is insane. You're telling me that everything I've worked for, everything Dad built, is all based on murder and cover-ups?
I'm telling you that Vincent Morrison is now blackmailing our family for $50 million to keep this information secret.
Blackmail? Mom, if Morrison has evidence of crimes, he's implicating himself too. Why would he risk exposure?
Because he has fake confessions that make your father look like the mastermind while Morrison appears to be a victim.
Fake confessions? When did Dad supposedly sign these?
Right before Morrison murdered him, Alex. Your father was going to confess everything to the FBI, and Morrison killed him to stop it.
Morrison has been planning this for months. He's been asking me questions about Dad's state of mind, his business plans, his relationships with government regulators.
What did you tell him?
I told him Dad had been acting strange lately, asking questions about our environmental compliance, wanting to review old safety reports. Morrison said Dad was probably just being cautious because of the new EPA investigations.
Alex, you gave Morrison the information he needed to know that your father was planning to confess.
I didn't know. Morrison said he was trying to help Dad prepare for regulatory scrutiny.
Morrison used you to spy on your own father, Alex.
What do we do now, Mom? If we don't pay Morrison, he destroys our family. If we do pay him, we're admitting guilt and funding his criminal enterprise.
There's a third option, Alex. We take the evidence I found to the FBI and expose Morrison ourselves.
Mom, if we do that, I go to prison. I've been falsifying environmental reports for 3 years. I'm an accessory to everything Dad did.
Better than letting Morrison get away with murdering your father.
Easy for you to say. You're not the one facing 20 years in federal prison.
Sophia, what's this investigation you're working on? I see requests for access to EPA files, OSHA reports, environmental lawsuit records.
I'm investigating a pattern of corporate environmental crimes that may have been covered up through bribery and murder.
That's a serious story. Do you have sources willing to go on record?
I'm working on it. But James, this investigation might involve my own family's company.
Hartwell Industries? Sophia, that's a conflict of interest. You can't investigate your own family's business.
What if my family's business is involved in crimes? Don't I have an obligation to report the truth?
You have an obligation to maintain journalistic integrity. If Hartwell Industries is involved, you need to recuse yourself and let another reporter handle it.
James, what if I have evidence that my father was murdered to cover up environmental crimes? Should I ignore that because it's a conflict of interest?
Sophia, are you telling me you think your father's suicide wasn't actually suicide?
I'm telling you I have evidence that my father was involved in covering up industrial accidents that killed workers, and when he decided to confess, his business partner had him murdered.
That's a hell of a story, but you're too close to it. If you have evidence of murder, you need to take it to the police, not publish it in the newspaper.
The police ruled it suicide. They're not going to reopen the investigation without compelling new evidence.
What evidence do you have?
Documents showing a pattern of environmental violations, financial records proving systematic bribery, and testimony from someone who claims to have inside knowledge of the cover-ups.
Who's your source?
I don't know yet. They contacted me anonymously and want to meet today.
Sophia, this sounds dangerous. If your father was really murdered, you could be putting yourself at risk.
James, I became a journalist to expose corruption and seek justice. I can't abandon those principles just because the corruption involves my family.
I admire your integrity, but I'm worried about your safety. If there really is a murderer involved in this, they won't hesitate to kill again.
Hello.
Miss Hartwell, this is Maria Santos. I was your family's household manager for 15 years.
Maria. I remember you. You left our employment about 5 years ago.
I left because I discovered things about your father's business that frightened me. I'm the person who called you yesterday.
You have information about my father's murder?
I have information that will shock you, Miss Hartwell. But we can't talk over the phone. Meet me at the Environmental Law Library in 30 minutes.
Maria, is it safe? Are we in danger?
We're all in danger as long as Vincent Morrison is free. Your father tried to protect the family by keeping secrets, but secrets only protect murderers.
Sophia, I heard that conversation. You're not going to this meeting alone.
James, this is something I have to do.
Then you're doing it with backup. I'm calling Detective Rodriguez. He owes me a favor, and he's been investigating corporate corruption cases.
You think we need police protection?
Sophia, if your source is right about murder and cover-ups, then everyone involved in exposing the truth is a potential target.
I've called this family meeting because we're facing a crisis that threatens to destroy everything your father built.
Mom, what kind of crisis? Is it financial? Legal?
It's both. And it's moral. I've discovered that your father's business empire was built on crimes that resulted in people's deaths.
What are you talking about? Dad was a respected businessman.
Marcus, Mom found evidence that Dad and Vincent Morrison covered up environmental disasters that killed factory workers.
It's worse than that. I met with our former household manager today. Maria Santos witnessed Morrison threatening Dad's life.
Are you saying Dad was murdered?
I'm saying Vincent Morrison killed your father to prevent him from confessing to the FBI about their criminal partnership.
Then we go to the police immediately. Murder is murder, regardless of the motive.
It's not that simple, Marcus. I've been involved in some of the cover-ups. If we expose Morrison, I go to prison too.
Alex, you knew about environmental crimes and didn't report them? You're a corporate officer with legal obligations.
I thought we were just bending regulations to stay competitive. I didn't know people had died.
The question is, what do we do now? Morrison is blackmailing Mom for $50 million.
Blackmail is a federal crime. We report it to the FBI and let them handle Morrison.
If we report the blackmail, we have to explain what Morrison is blackmailing us about. That means admitting to all the environmental crimes.
so we admit to the crimes. It's the right thing to do. Alex, easy for you to say. Your law career isn't built on falsified environmental reports.
Alex, people are dead because of what you and Dad did. Don't you think their families deserve justice?
Of course they deserve justice. But destroying our family won't bring those people back to life.
Alex, you're talking like a criminal trying to avoid responsibility.
I'm talking like someone who understands that our choices affect more than just us. Mom, if we expose Morrison and Dad's crimes, what happens to the thousands of people employed by Hartwell Industries?
Alex, you can't use other people's jobs as an excuse to cover up murder.
I'm not covering up murder. I'm trying to find a solution that doesn't destroy innocent people's lives.
What about the innocent people who died because of the environmental violations? What about their families?
We can help those families privately. We can set up compensation funds, provide medical care, pay for education.
With blood money, Alex? You want to pay off the victims' families with profits from the crimes that killed their loved ones?
I want to help people without destroying our ability to continue helping them.
Children, stop arguing. We're a family, and we need to make this decision together.
Mom, I'm a journalist. My career is built on exposing the truth. How can I continue working if I'm covering up the biggest story of my life?
And I'm a lawyer. My oath requires me to uphold justice. I can't ignore evidence of murder and environmental crimes.
So you're both willing to sacrifice the family to maintain your professional integrity?
We're willing to do what's right, regardless of the personal cost.
And I'm willing to do what's practical, regardless of idealistic principles.
Alex, you sound exactly like your father did when he first started compromising his values for business success.
Maybe Dad understood something about the real world that the rest of you don't want to face.
The real world? Alex, Dad's understanding of the real world got him murdered.
Hello?
Elizabeth, I hope you've had time to consider my proposal.
Vincent, I'm not paying you $50 million to cover up my husband's murder.
Your husband's murder? Elizabeth, you're still confused about what happened. Richard killed himself because he couldn't live with the guilt of his crimes.
I have recordings of Richard describing how you threatened his life.
You have recordings of a mentally unstable man making paranoid accusations. No court would consider them reliable evidence.
What about the USB drive with recordings of you confessing to murder?
Elizabeth, you're playing a very dangerous game. Richard thought he was smarter than me too.
Are you threatening me, Vincent?
I'm explaining reality. You have something that belongs to me, and I want it back.
The recordings belong to the FBI. They're evidence of your crimes.
The recordings are fabrications created by Richard to frame me for his own crimes. But they're dangerous fabrications that could be misinterpreted.
Misinterpreted? Vincent, you confessed to murdering 3 people.
I discussed Richard's paranoid theories about industrial accidents. He was recording our conversations without my knowledge, and editing them to support his delusions.
You're lying.
I'm protecting myself from false accusations. Elizabeth, I'm prepared to offer you a revised deal.
I'm not making any deals with you.
$25 million and the USB drive in exchange for guaranteed safety for your entire family.
Guaranteed safety? You mean you won't murder us like you murdered Richard?
I mean your children will be able to continue their careers. without interference from criminal investigations or media exposure.